Good morning. It's been a fairly eventful couple of days here, naturally, at the Capitol. I trust if you're watching this video, you probably had the occasion to read the article or the op-ed I wrote yesterday pertaining to what's occurring here in the Senate. It's no secret, to senators at least, that threats are being made, intimidation tactics are being utilized by the Lieutenant Governor and his staff. It's no secret that this is more a matter of revenge or vengeance because a handful of senators just a few days ago did not join him in ruling an amendment germane or not germane. In other words, when that issue was appealed to the floor, a handful of senators voted against the Lieutenant Governor, and because of that vote and other conservative votes they've cast, he's naturally wanting to strike back, which is what this is all about. It's what it's always been about. I want to explain to you today how he plans to strike back. I want to explain to you why, in some parts or some respects, he's striking back. There's a couple of things from a psychological perspective, from a sociological perspective, but more important, just practically as to why he's doing what he's doing. Now remember, each decade, once every 10 years, the census is taken. When that census is taken, at that stage, legislative districts have to be drawn, or in this case, redrawn. It happens in the House and the Senate. The key here is how these new lines will be redrawn. If Delbert Hosemann redraws the lines in an effort to hurt Republicans, that's a problem. It's a problem if it's a single Republican, just one Republican, because we in this state have a supermajority, and we've worked really hard over the years to establish this supermajority. For a so-called Republican lieutenant governor now to step in and to threaten that supermajority after all the hard work Republicans have conducted for more than a generation, that can't be allowed. An attack on one Republican is an attack on every single one of us. Every single person who's knocked doors, every person who's given campaign contributions, every person that's fought for this party. There are 52 senators whose lines are going to be redrawn. I want to be clear about this. The Republican responsibility is to protect Republican interest. A Republican lieutenant governor should be attempting to protect Republican interest and not draw the lines to punish fellow Republicans. And that's what's happening. Let's talk about it. Two ways he can withdraw a line to punish a Republican. One is he can eliminate a district. Just the district disappears, then other districts collapse around it. That's more than likely what he is planning to do. The second way to eliminate a Republican is a simple calculation in math. Here's the way that works. In Mississippi, the Justice Department makes us calculate something called BVAP. That's BVAP, Black Voting Age Population. The reason the black voting age population is important is because in a state like ours, that demonstrates pretty strong Democrat districts, because in so many ways we recognize that minorities in this state do tend to support Democrat candidates more than Republican candidates. So remember, if you're a conservative Republican, one of the key indicators of your district strength is the black voting age population. The higher that is, the less likely you have to win your race. And naturally, any number drawn over about 43 or 44 or 45% puts that Republican in a position where he or she cannot win the seat. That's the plan. That's what Delbert is attempting. It could be to one senator, it could be to multiple senators, but he is targeting conservatives. The problem with his approach is this: he could just as easily have targeted Democrats. He could just as easily have drawn these maps in a million different directions to make sure that Democrats are redrawn, not Republicans. But he's choosing to target because he doesn't like people being principled, evidently. He doesn't like conservatives fighting for conservative values. I'll get to more on that later. Perhaps more importantly, he wants to be in firm control of the chamber. And that's why this can't be allowed. The psychological impact of literally eliminating one of our colleagues, one of our Republican colleagues, just to satisfy the Lieutenant Governor, would send a terrible message, not only to the people of this state, but to the body as a whole. If he can eliminate a conservative Republican in the front of everyone, he does it to set an example, to put people in line, to make sure they never challenge him again. The question is that really what you want? If he continues to lead the body to the left, if he continues to push for Medicaid expansion and continues to push for government expansion, pretty much most Democratic priorities, do you really want him controlling the Republicans to the extent that they simply follow along? That's the question. But that's one of the reasons he's seeking to enact or exact revenge in this situation. Look, here's the thing. I don't believe that any Republican should pay a price for voting their principle. I don't believe any Republican should pay a price for being a person of conviction. I don't believe any Republican should pay a price for doing exactly what they told their voters they would do. So that's why redistricting has gotten to be so important here in Mississippi. And guess what? The vote will occur either Saturday or Sunday of this week. Something else you should be aware of. Senators aren't being allowed to see their maps. Think through that for a second. Senators requesting permission to see their maps are being told they cannot see their maps. I can't speak to all. I wouldn't dare speak to all, but I know a large handful that have requested that and have not been allowed that request. Why? In a place of transparency where the people's business is supposed to be preeminent, in a place where we're supposed to be talking about things, not hiding things, why would they attempt to hide maps from senators unless mischief, real mischief, was afoot? So let's keep our eye on the ball here. To eliminate a Republican in this state, whether a House member or a Senate member, all you have to do is increase the Democrat population in that district up to 43, 44, 45%. If you increase the Democrat population in that district up to 50, 52, 53, 54%, you are committing the political assassination of a fellow Republican. And there's nowhere for you to hide on that. This is the fight, and it's one of the most important fights we've had in an awfully long time. Any questions you've got, I'm happy to answer them. Anything you want to discuss, put it right here under the comments section. And certainly feel free to share this video to as many people as you wish. Look, I told you a long time ago, you're going to get transparency with me as it pertains to politics. I told you when I first was elected that I'm not going to let people come up here and cut backroom deals that put you, the people, in a position where your voices aren't being heard. Well, think about this. If one or more of your senators is carved out, is that not telling you you don't matter? If one or more of your senators are carved out, isn't that a terrible message to send to the people of this state as hard as we've worked to elect strong conservatives? No, we can't let it happen. We have to hold the line here as best we can. And if Lieutenant Governor insists on ending the career of a fellow Republican, it needs to be well known why he did it. And transparency is the best way to handle that. And that's why I'm doing this. I hope you're well. I look forward to hearing from you. This will not be the last video I cut on this. I plan to do more. And hopefully at some point we'll have some good news to share. Until then, have a good day.